No, that's for the thumbnail. I don't actually have two journals on my head when I journal. So let's get into the actual meat of the video. As human, it's normal to overthink, to overanalyze, and have troubling thoughts. That's just being human. But then we can get it under control if we do something like journaling. I've been writing journals for a few years now, and here are some tips and general guidelines you can follow if you're just starting out. Even if you think you're a journaling expert, I still think there should be something that you can take away in this video. First of all, starting with a controversial stance, I recommend having a physical journal as well as a digital journal. There's pros and cons to each type of journaling, so one day I just thought to myself, why not just do both? Writing on a physical journal, you get a lot more creative space. You can basically just draw however you want and you won't be limited by the text box. It's also a lot more therapeutic to write with pen and paper. But also it's a lot harder to keep in track of your physical journals. You know, entries can be here and there, and it's really hard for you to go back to a certain day in, say, 3 years time and to read on that journal entry. And that is where digital journal comes in. With a digital journaling app, you can incorporate photos, videos, even voice recordings. It also helps you sort out your entries very neatly, year by year, month by year, day by day. For example, in the app that I use, which is called Journey, they have this feature which shows entries you have written on this day in past years. And nowadays, I can sometimes see entries I've written like 4 years ago on the same day, and it just reminded me of how much I've grown, and it made me just really grateful of where I am today. There's a bunch of other journaling apps out there. Just do a quick Google search, try all of them and stick to one that you like. In terms of when I use which, right? I use physical journal when I'm home and have more space or time to think. When I'm outside, I use my digital journal. So this is when I'm in, you know, more crowded spaces, in places where it's harder to focus. I use my digital journal, I whack it out, type a few sentences and call it a day. Now let's go into actually writing the journal entry. How do you go about doing it? Start with the time, date and settings. If you're using an app, then time and date should already be there. Where are you? What time is it? What's the weather like? Is it cold? Is it hot? That really gets you going, gets the wheels running. Also, it helps you a lot in the future when you're reading back to the old entries. It really pulls you right back into that moment. Moving on, simply start describing why you're writing this entry. Personally, whenever I feel troubled, whenever I feel like something's been on my mind for way too long, you know, I've been thinking about this one problem for the last 2 hours, I work out my journal and I just start journaling. Write down why you're writing this journal. For example, today I might feel troubled because I haven't been working out for 3 days. Then just write it out. Write out, I haven't been working out for 3 days. And then just let your mind go freely, let it roam, because that's the point of journaling. It helps you sort out your mind, sort out your thinking into more linear and logical written words. After that, you should feel like you naturally have more and more to write about. After each sentences, you feel like there's something more you want to say, or you might want to go to another direction, another topic. Maybe you're writing about going to the gym and then suddenly it reminds you of being productive and how you've actually been productive even though you haven't been to the gym, etc. I mean, I'm just making this up. You'll keep writing, and then after a few minutes, you'll suddenly go like, oh, that's it. I don't actually have that much more to say. And in that moment, you finish journaling for your entry and you'll realize that the trouble thought that has been there for the last 3 hours, you've just spent 3 minutes writing it out and now it's gone. And that's the power of journaling. Like Bruce Lee said, right? One does not accumulate but eliminate. It is not daily increase but daily decrease. The height of cultivation always runs to simplicity. So yeah, be simple. Of course, I'll give you a few more tips because I don't want this to be just like a generic journaling video. One tip I like is to write like you're writing to your best friend. Or if you don't have a best friend, then just write like you're writing to a clone of yourself who is your best friend. That might sound weird, but because you're literally writing to yourself in a journal, right? No one's gonna read it. Don't write as if someone's gonna read it. Write it without any filter. Write it with your deepest feelings, whatever you're thinking, rant it out, you know. This journal is supposed to be for you and you alone. So don't write with any sort of filter because that will really affect the mental clarity that you gain from the process. Another tip is to use questions. After journaling for so long, I realized that sometimes in the middle of an entry, I'll ask myself questions like, why am I having this feeling? Why am I troubled by this thought? And these questions actually help you think deeper. They prompt you to think about deeper connections that you have with other ideas in your life or other events that have happened in the past. In terms of actual implementation, I actually find myself using my digital journal more than physical journal. We use technology a lot more, and because of that, you might as well take advantage of it. I like to journal on my phone, especially when I'm on the bus, in the tube, or on the subway. Some might call it, because that's usually the time when I'm sitting alone, got nothing to do, And that's actually the best time to journal, right? That's the best time to let your mind free and to write down whatever's happening in your life, because great practice for gaining mental clarity and understanding yourself. However, if you want something more intense to understand yourself even better, and if you have more time to do this journaling stuff, then check out this video about deep journaling. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Liked it if you enjoy it, comment down below what you think about my journaling system, and subscribe if you want to get on this journey of designing a life that's more intentional, unique, exciting, that's personalized for you only. Now, with that being said, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.